I watched 100 failed YouTube videos with 0 views, and all of them made these 3 editing mistakes that made them suck. I'm a professional video editor with 1 million views to my name, and today I will share the 3 editing mistakes I had to stop doing and you should do. And if you stay long enough, I have some free stuff for you. Going straight into the first mistake, and that is not using contrast. Look at this animation. Imagine if it looked like this. It lost that cinematic touch, didn't it? Can you see what changed though? Contrast. You need to make sure your subject, whether it's an animated character or some text or anything else, has enough contrast separating it from the background. And there is a couple of ways to do this. You can simply do it by using color. So make the background black and white and boom, it already looks separated. Or mess with the contrast settings of the character and the background, mess with the saturation, or just make it brighter or darker. You can also do it by using blur. Add some Gaussian blur to your background and adjust it over here. You can see that it already looks much better. And in general, in cinematography, having a blur background looks more cinematic. One of my favorite ways to do this is to add a shadow to your subject. So go here to open effects, find a drop shadow and drag it to your character. You can also add a black border if we're talking about text. You need to go here to shading, number 2, enable, and then change the color to whatever you want and adjust the thickness. You can even combine these effects, say you have a shadow plus a blurry background and so on. Or find a brand new creative way to separate your subject and the background. There's unlimited room for you to be creative, so make sure to use it, especially in practice. Also, to get really good at this, it's good to get some feedback. So to make that more accessible for you, I made a free school community with a bunch of other YouTubers and editors there to help you out. As the first link in the description, I hope to see you there. The second mistake I see a lot in talking head videos, and that is not maintaining the eye line. Look at this zoom. That it seemed kinda off to you. Now look at this one. Could you notice what's different? Let me explain. When you want your zoom-ins or cuts or any transition from one face to another to look as smooth as possible, you want the position of eyes to stay the same in both clips, like this. Because the viewer is keeping eye contact with the talking head, and when you make a cut, the viewer doesn't want to have to readjust where he's looking at. He just wants to keep looking at the same spot, if that makes sense. So when you zoom in, make sure to remember the exact position of the eyes and position your next frame to fit it perfectly. You can use a grid of thirds like this to make it easier. I just downloaded this as a PNG image of Google, but to be honest, I usually just put my finger on the screen and do it like that. All the big guys do this. It's a very popular rule, even in movies, so make sure to use it in your videos too, if you want them to look clean at least. And honestly, it really bugs me when I see someone not doing this. It's just kind of annoying. Now, before I tell you the third mistake, I'm actually gonna give you a bonus mistake, because I'm such a nice guy and also because I made so many mistakes. And that is stretching out instead of cutting down. Bro, your video does not need to be as long as possible. If there is a boring part in the video that doesn't contribute much to the story or education, cut it out completely. A lot of editors try to stretch out their videos to be as long as possible to reach those 8 minutes to get those mid-roll ads, and yeah, guess what? Longer videos make more money, especially if we're talking about 1 hour, 2 hour videos. That's true. But if your video has tons of boring parts that you kept in there just because you wanted to make it longer, then nobody's gonna watch it, and then you will make less money than if your video was just shorter. So instead of stretching it out to be as long as possible, try cutting it down to the point where 100% of your video is just the interesting parts. I heard a tip somewhere that you should cut down the video as much as possible, then take a break, come back to the video later on with fresh eyes, and then cut down even more. I don't personally go to this extent, but maybe that's why I'm not a millionaire yet. So cut that boring part out of your video. And now the third mistake I see people do is not cutting the audio in a way that audio is supposed to be cut. This is fairly simple, but it's kind of a big deal. When you have that notorious moment of silence between 2 sentences that you want to cut out, make sure to cut from the very last sound of the first sentence to the very first sound of the second sentence. Don't leave it like this with a little annoying block of silence in the middle. Don't believe me? Listen to these. Please subscribe to my channel, cause I make great videos. Please subscribe to my channel, cause I make great videos. Come on. The second one sounds much better. Cut your silent ends, be professional. If you just stop doing these mistakes, your videos will instantly get much better. But you don't have to stop there. I make tons of tutorials, so if you want more help from me, feel free to press subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.